Okay, it's pretty late right now, so I'm gonna try to keep this short. I gave Mom the rundown on the quote, and she had the reaction I thought she would. She was like, "No way, you can't afford that." And I was like, "I know, but I need this, this, and this, and I have to pay enough money for him to be able to train the dog to do the advanced stuff. And he's also taking the puppy. He would take the puppy earlier than I originally thought for the 4, 6, whatever. And I really can only afford for him to take her twice. I'm going to try to work out a deal with him. I just drafted an email to him, which I will send tomorrow. And I'm just kind of biting my nails because I saw the price tag on this and I was like, yikes. I mean, you'll see this when I put the video together, but I was like, ugh. So I'm like trying to like work this out because I really do not want to give another rundown to another trainer because it's been hard enough to find 2 private trainers that'll say, sure, I'll train a service dog, and that have enough experience to do it. And since stuff with Alpha is up in the air, they're not my go-to right now. If I could guarantee Elizabeth would be done training or done with her surgery at a certain time, that would leave me ready to train a dog, but that would push me so far into the year, and I'd rather get this going between January and say May, assuming the breeder has a puppy by then. So right now I'm like, this guy is like one of my few options for kind of a format I want. But we got to kind of come to a deal because I can't swing the amount of money he's asking. I don't know how much. My brother said he'd give me some money too. But I don't know how much he can give me, and I'm not going to ask him for over $1,000 because they're paying for 2 dogs and a bunch of other stuff, and they have a lot going on right now. So I'm like, I'm not going to ask him I mean, if he can give me $500, that's fine. But anyway, so I'm like kind of biting my nails right now. I'm going to keep praying about this. And I'm not going to start like freaking out about this. I'm going to send him an email. He seems like a reasonable guy. He said he was going to be really nice about the payment and stuff. So, he wasn't gonna, I mean, I think if he knew I couldn't like pay for this flat for as much as it was going to be, he would have turned me down. I'm actually surprised he hasn't turned me down, because I'm like, I can't pay for 11,000 out flat. There's no way I can do it, even if I save my money for a year and a half, and pay all my bills. So I'm like, I'm hoping if I send this email tomorrow and he's like, sure, we can do this, this, and this, I will work with this, even if I have to do something a little bit different than we had originally planned. I'm like, So I'm going to run him an email tomorrow because I can't send the entire thing in a text. And I don't want to do that. But I'll take care of this tomorrow. That's going to be one of my things. I have more things that I'm going to be doing with the channel. All the stuff is going to be, I shot today, that's going up in next week's vlog. I'm like, it's all over the place. And as I said, this entire journey has like taken so many twists and turns. It's kind of nuts. And I'm like, please, please, please let this work out where it's supposed to, because I'm putting too much time and effort into this for it to fail. And I am really going to bust my butt more than I have been. So I'm like, I mean, even if I have to like sit on the floor and mess with this puppy every day, I mean, my family's just got a boatload of stuff going on right now. Mom has a new dog, Jackie has a new dog, and I'm like, I'm in the queue to get a dog right now, and I'm kind of at the bottom. So I have like so many little pieces I gotta get working, and I still gotta hear back from the church. I mean, even if they only write this guy a partial check, that's fine. I'll take whatever money they can supply. I'll be grateful for whatever. And so that's kind of where I'm at. And I'm going to tack this on to next week's vlog. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Okay, I'm going to try to get this shot before the trainer calls. Things have changed again. Well, I hope they don't change too much. Okay, since yesterday, Mom has kind of pretty much had a meltdown. I think she had an anxiety attack, which fueled her giving me an entire spiel how she thinks I need a smaller dog. Which I really only have limited options on that because I have one breeder that is literally down the street from me that breeds Cavalier, Poodle crosses, and what they call Woodles. I think it's a Wheaton, probably a Wheaton Terrier and a Poodle cross, something like that. And so I sent them just an inquiry email. I'm not even asking to be put on a waiting list because I'm already on 2 for Goldens. So I sent them an inquiry to kind of see where they're at, since they have like 5 litters going for end of this year, beginning of next year. So, which is fine. So anyway, I'm talking to Erin this afternoon, which will be helpful. I'll probably give you an update on that. Go either in this video or the next video. Probably post 2 vlogs next week, depending on how things go. So anyway, so I'm sending an inquiry out. I'm still on the waiting lists for the Goldens, which I can't do anything about until next year anyway. Then our other issue is Trip is having some food aggression issues. But they are only related to him reacting to a dog, not primarily Sage or Apple or whoever, not us. And it's a separate issue. And I'm like, I told Mom before she even got Sage, I'm like, you got to control this or he's going to be more unmanageable than he already is. I'm like, separate the dogs, get this under control, and I think we're good for bringing my dog in. That's a concern of mine for my dog, because I don't want my dog getting snapped at and then having a complete meltdown and not being able to be worked with, either later on before it's a year old or afterwards, because that's going to ruin the dog's temperament and make it unusable as a service dog. So I'm kind of between a rock and a hard place here. The money is like number 2 on my list of things I have to get taken care of. And I'm not going to go into detail about what I discussed with my brother because that's his business and this isn't set in stone yet. But long story short, he's offering to help me pay for the training. But he's like, keep saving money, which I intend to do. So I'm going to like try to make a dent in the amount of money that Erin's going to need to train this dog, because she's going to need it. And I am considering things. Mom may not think I'm thinking about these things, but I don't always, that isn't always my top tier thing that I hash out to everybody when I'm giving them the rundown on what I'm looking for and what I intend to do. I am thinking about Goldens are higher prone to cancer. They're prone to about 6 different types of cancer. And they are very, they can get messy. Their grooming causes issues. They can get ear infections. It's issues if they have ticks on them because their coat's longer. I think she's kind of resigned herself that I will have a double-coated dog or a dog with long hair. Even if I have a poodle cross, it's going to be still, it's going to have to be run to the groomer every few weeks, give or take. But I did find a good groomer that's not too far from my house. So I intend to make use of that. And even with my Golden, I'm going to clip her down in certain spots so she doesn't get all messy, because been there, done that. I've had a Golden that peed all over themselves because their feathers were a disaster. And this was a male that I grew up. This was the first dog my family had, was a Golden Retriever, and he didn't like being brushed, and his feathers were always a disaster. So it's like I have to consider that. But I have stuff in my back pocket I can deal with, but I'm going to kind of manage when I actually take this dog to a professional groomer. I'm not going to do it all the time. Maybe every few months, as often as I get my hair cut, maybe, give or take. And then I'm gonna start grooming the dog every day, every other day, just to keep down on the shedding. That will help with any sort of mess. I'm gonna keep towels on hand for cleaning up messes. I have an industrial utility mat in my house, which will help cut down on mess. That helps with my the mess my wheelchair makes, and stuff like that. So I'm probably gonna start cleaning the dog standing on that mat and curtail the mess to the entryway. That will make things easier. I think Mom's like getting ahead of herself, and she's thinking this is going to be a disaster coming and going. And I understand her concerns, but I'm also seeing potential issues with the training mats as well. If I get cheap training mats, they're going to smell all the time. I don't want to do that, or the house is going to stink, which is part of the reason I wanted to put the training pad on the porch where it wasn't gonna get in the way. If I get a Golden, I'll probably use a tie out, which was one of my plans. But if I have one of these poodle crosses, I'll probably do a training pad of some kind. One or the other. I have options, which I wanted to keep open. So that's kind of where I'm at. I will work this over and figure out things out with Erin. I'm trying to alleviate some of Mom's anxiety with managing multiple dogs, because that's going to become my issue as well, because the dog's going to be coming back and forth from Mom's house to here. So I'm doing my homework, checking all my boxes. The other thing Mom had a cow about was I told her the breeder by my house was asking $3,000 for a poodle cross, and she had a stroke, which I kind of expected. But if that's the only option, because I am not I am not going to pay, I wouldn't put money down on a puppy for some of these poodle breeders, poodle crosses, because they're just not going to, they have too many hoops to jump through. That's not my issue. But essentially I have a backup plan and backup plan and backup plan. But the Golden's still my number one, just because of the temperament. I can make things work. I have a way to deal with the grooming, but it's not at like the top of my list. I just would have to get a system for grooming the dog when I was going to take it for a professional groom. But it will be brushed every day or every other day, which is probably going to be the case with any dog I get. Although if I get a poodle cross, it's going to have to be professionally groomed more. So until I hear back from Erin later, I will update you guys in the next clip. Okay, I'm going to try this again. My phone got screwed up because the storage was almost full. And so yeah, it was like everything was happening all at the same time. I was getting ready to go out and check and see if my aunt sent the check she was going to send me. And the people that were cleaning my furnace came at the same time, and the trainer called, all within a minute of each other. And it was like, come on. And so so that's kind of where that's at. And so we talked for about 15-20 minutes, and he essentially gave me a rundown for how his breakdown worked, activity or skill, go with the dogs that know how to do XYZ, which totally makes sense, which is why they use retrievers for service work, because they retrieve. So, and I don't want to have a dog I run on a crapshoot either. So it's like, and he kind of had Mom's reaction to them charging $3,000 for a poodle mix, which I'm like, yeah. So that's kind of how that is. So we talked for a little bit, and then I got stuck outside while they were cleaning my furnace when I ran over to check my mail. So I was sitting outside freezing my butt off for a bit until I came back in here. And hopefully this video makes sense, because I had to clean my storage and figure out what I have where. I still have to check and make sure I have everything. But yeah, so I actually don't have much of a breakdown. I'm still going with the Golden Retriever. So I actually did her tag yesterday on Amazon, and so I'll order that when I'm getting ready to. I still have to check and price check how much the vest is going to cost, because but I'll probably have Mom order that, because the way I'm looking at it, it's probably going to cost me $20, $30, $40. Probably not $40, because I'm only going to put a couple of patches on it. I'm not going to put 3 or 4 different patches on it. So that's kind of where things are at right now. And Erin and I are going to keep things in the loop. I'm going to keep praying about everything and get everything, hopefully everything works out the way it's supposed to. And so as long as everything is on an even keel, I think we're good to go. So I'm not going to close this vlog quite yet, but I have to go back through my raw footage and see where things line up. So until then, I'll see you guys in the next clip.